talk us through for people who haven't like we've seen your stuff already. We've got to know you. We've talked to you. So talk about the very beginning. Like what's your story? What made you want to do this, and how'd you get where you are now?
Yeah, man. It's to be honest, I've been numb to the story because I've shared it so
I
many
know. I
times.
know. I feel bad
Uh,
Yeah.
asking.
but no, of course not, man. My passion comes out at different times, and this is definitely a time where I like would love to share it. But it's been a long journey, and to kind of summarize it, it's not something that I can just like briefly summarize, and I'll try to make it as short as possible. But it is definitely it's a lot. Like there's been a lot of things that have happened in my life that has got me to, when I first started my nomadic journey, it was June 30th, 2020. But kind of going behind that of like what, like I guess how and why, like Chris and I. So to give you some context as to Chris and I's relationship, Chris and I are first cousins. I'm a few years older than Chris, but we grew up camping, with our family and just loving the outdoors and just having that time away from the craziness of life. Even as kids, we always enjoyed camping and being outside and meeting people and just kind of more of an unconventional way of living. At the time, obviously, it was only like weekend trips, but and like week-long trips with our family. But we really that was like our taste of it, right? And I've been very blessed to have two parents that always made travel a priority, and something that was always enjoyed with the family, either with cousins like Chris or just doing family trips or whatever it is. Like, I've been very blessed to be able to travel. And through that, I just fell in love with it, right? And I think you guys got a taste of that just in your, like, it's just when you get out of kind of your hometown and you're able to see a different way of life and you're able to meet people from all walks of life, it's like, that's so like just like it's just uncomprehensible. Like it's just something that it's just like a taste of something new. And I loved it. I love traveling, and I'm very passionate about it. And I just love the ability of meeting people. Like right, like just this whole thing that's going on from like
Yeah.
just meeting you. Like the way that we met was I took my dog on a. I'm getting used to saying ours because Chris is like so involved in Bailey's life now. But it all started with walking Bailey's dog, and now here we are 2 weeks later, New Jersey, Nebraska, Washington State. Here we are still staying connected. That's what it's all about. And I've always told people, the places are great. It's all that, but it's the people, right? And that's
Right.
something that I've always been super passionate about sharing. And I've met so many people from so many different walks, and it's just been so cool to stay connected and to meet people and to hear people's stories and just to get out of the bubble because I grew up I've been blessed to have grown up in a very nice area in Pennsylvania, but like truthfully, that's not real life, and I've just been able to really just humble myself and see so much beauty. I don't even know where I'm going, but I guess I'm
No, you're
essentially
good.
just saying like that was my true taste, and I
Yeah.
was hitting a point in my life where I was losing that, and I like was living a life of routine, and again, like for some people it works, and there's like I know like to each their own. I respect those people and I think it's awesome, but for me and what I want out of life is I want a life of adventure. I want a life filled with experiences. I want a life just filled with new experiences and just like that feeling of every day being new, and I never really knew what would happen. So COVID, Chris and we lost our grandfather, and like shortly before I hit the road. And I think for me, like that gave me, and just with the whole COVID experience of people and the hardships that people were going through, it really just put a lens of life being so fragile. And like like we take our health, we take everything that we do for granted, and I'm so guilty of this, and I continue. But like, who's to say that we're going to have like right like culturally we say, okay, we'll just wait till retirement to live the life I've always wanted to live. Well,
Right.
what if we never get that moment? And
Yeah.
so I remember, with COVID, I had just moved to Atlanta for a new job. And I was in a one-bedroom apartment. I was alone. I'm an extrovert. As you can kind of hear the energy, like I get my energy around people, and I was not doing well mentally, but I also was like, okay, well, what's something safe that I can do, right? Obviously, COVID is very serious. Well, how can I go about kind of a new adventure that would be serious? And there were two girls that I know that were working for Apple on the road. And I was like, well, that kind of the light bulb went off in my head. It's like, maybe I can take this thing remote. And so, literally, with no expectations of the amount of time that I would be on the road, literally 2-week adventure. I left my like milk in the fridge. I left like so much, like as if I would just pick up and leave and come. And again, I'm sorry this is long, but I just feel like I can't equate it, to a short story. But essentially, I fell in love with the road. Long story short, I fell in love with the road. I ended up leaving Atlanta. I left my apartment, and just fell in love with the simplicity. Fell in love with meeting people every day, being new. I was growing through all of the uncomfortable things that were happening, and I just fell in love with it. And I really wasn't willing, and I still, 421 days later, yes, it's hard. Yes, there's times where I want to go home and curl up in a ball and go back to kind of more of a normal, stable life, but I really wouldn't trade it for the world. I've learned so much about myself during this time, and I know Chris has learned a lot, and of just really what I wanted to achieve in this gift of life that we all have. And so, yeah, that's kind of just like, again, I could go on and on about, but really just falling in love with the simplicity and honestly realizing that you don't need a whole lot to be happy, because I was guilty of all of these things, right? Buying a new car, having the flashy car, having all the luxuries of, having that $2,000 apartment, all of these things that culturally we're like taught or shown to like need. And I didn't miss any of that. And for me, that was like the biggest wake up call. Like, here's all these things that like on paper is like, oh, you get a big job, go get the nice car, go get that. And for me, it was like, man, I'm just happy living in the back of my Jeep with Bailey and cooking outside and working out at Planet Fitness and getting like, I was just having, like, it was thrilling. It really was. And so, sorry. Again, that was a lot.
Thanks for watching. If you liked this clip and want to see more, click the link below or head over to our channel, like, subscribe, and make sure to hit that bell icon so you can stay up to date on the most current lessons learned content. See ya!